back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about George Russell and why I think he is a top quality driver. Unbelievable guy. I think it's complete BS that he was not Rookie of the Year. And I'm going to give a whole video as to why. And this is going to be kind of an unstructured video. I'm just going to be listing off random reasons and kind of give a summary of his career. So yeah, let me just give you guys a really quick rundown of his kind of history so I don't bore you guys with a long speech about it. But basically, started karting at 8 years old, which is kind of late. In 2006, went on to win the Super Internationals in karting, and then went on to defend that title the following year, winning again. Then he won his first season in F4. Then he went on to win the McLaren Autosport BRDC, which is basically this little event that McLaren holds with a small $100,000 grand prize. Then he went on to become the youngest recruit in the British Superstars program. Then after that, he went on to win his first Formula 3 race, eventually finishing 6th in the championship, which was not that impressive. Then he won GP3 in 2017, and of course went on to win that incredible 2017 GP2 season, beating the likes of Albon, Norris, Giovinazzi, De Vries, so on. Hence why all of these quite impressive rookies came into the 2019 season. George Russell was part of that. He went on to win the damn thing. And that's like why it's so aggravating to me that he then has to go into the Williams. I mean, like the fact that Norris goes on to a McLaren, Albon, who was someone who wasn't even looking like he was going to get a Formula 1 drive in general. He was going to go to Formula E, then gets just the absolute luck of ending up in the Toro Rosso situation, given that Ricciardo left. And then eventually he gets promoted up to Red Bull. Unbelievably impressive for him to be able to do that. And then Russell, the guy who wins GP2, ends up going into just the dog of a car that is the Williams. I'm sorry if any of you guys are Williams fans. I don't hate Williams, but oh my god, they suck right now. And it's heartbreaking. But anyway, in GP2, getting back to the purpose here, in GP2 he had some amazing races. One of his best ones, in my opinion, was going from 12th to 1st in Baku, which, if anyone is familiar with that race, which I'm assuming most of you guys are, Baku is an incredibly difficult track. This is, the place where Charles binned it in qualifying and said the beautiful "I am stupid," because it's just an incredibly difficult castle area. You have this incredibly long straight, which then just goes into a fucking 90-degree turn, which is just insane. They're going from basically one of the highest speeds they reach throughout the calendar into just this, terrifying 90-degree turn. So not an easy track. To even survive that track is impressive, let alone go from 12th to 1st. Really shows, in my opinion, how impressive he is as a driver. Then, after an impressive performance, obviously in F2, during Formula 2, he was a test driver for the then Force India team, which is now Racing Point, obviously. And he did a tire test for them where he did 123 laps, which I think is such a nice number. You got 1, you got your 2, and you got 3. That's the dream team of numbers right there. Now, then getting on to his Formula 1 career, which obviously has somewhat of a, I guess let's say he has a misleading start in Formula 1 because he's driving for a team that's just never going to be competitive. Even despite that, he goes on and beats Kubica, who, in my opinion, in his prime was one of the best drivers on the grid. 2007 through 2010, I think Kubica was one of the best in that grid. Obviously, maybe not the same guy after his rally incident, but still, Russell went on and beat him in qualifying 21 out of 21 times. That's insane. He's the only person on the grid this year who was able to do that. And, you've seen people before like Stoffel Vandoorne, who had an incredible, pre-Formula 1 career. Everyone was expecting him to just be bang on, incredible guy. And he had vice versa in his final year of McLaren before being sacked, getting, beaten by Fernando Alonso 21 out of 21 times. And Russell, a rookie, I don't care what you think of Kubica in 2019, George Russell was a rookie. This guy has no experience in Formula 1 racing, And he goes on 21 out of 21 qualifying. That's insane. So yeah, incredible. And these are not small margins either. I mean, most of the time he was just banging it. Like it was like Kubica was not even in the same car as him. Then in the races, obviously, he was still quite good. He outdid Kubica in the racing, but then in the end, because Kubica had that kind of fluke weird event in Hockenheim where both of the alphas got removed, disqualified from the race, which was weird. But anyway, yeah. So then Kubica gets moved up a position, or 2 positions, as well as Russell, as well as Hamilton in that race. And Kubica goes on to get, a single point. So it ended up being then in the end, Kubica beats Russell, 1 point to George's 0 points. But I think that really, that's not to take away from George, because I think it's misleading. Because then I feel that every time he gets into that Mercedes car for the test driving, it's just always bang on it. I mean, yeah, not to disrespect Valtteri Bottas or anything like that, but just I feel like George is so much more impressive in that car. I feel like he's just more alive, and I know it's just testing, but he still is just on it. Oh my god! I mean, one of the quotes I found from one of the engineers during his testing. I think this was the test after Bahrain, and Mercedes allowed him to use their car. Obviously, as Williams is kind of a feeder team, a B team, maybe even C team, I guess, to Mercedes. Williams was nice enough to allow Russell to then hop into the Mercedes car. And in the Mercedes, the mechanics said the way he goes about testing and his consistency and feedback would make you think he has a couple of seasons of F1 under his belt, not just 2 races at the time. So yeah, Bahrain being the second race, this testing comes after that race. So that's a pretty big compliment in my opinion. I mean, I think it's always good to be a rookie and be basically spoken of as someone who is, I guess, far beyond his or her years is always good, because, it means that you're not going to be as likely to make the same mistakes as someone. You're not going to be, kind of aggravating, I guess, to the engineers, because it's important half of F1 is not even driving. Half of F1 is, pleasing the people that matter, making the right decisions. And, Alonso is a perfect example of how that can go so poorly for you. As, the incredible driver that Alonso was, he's made a lot of those kind of bad ties. And so I think for Russell to already be spoken about in this kind of way is good, because it kind of gives him those little stepping stones towards Mercedes, which is awesome. You look at Giovinazzi, he doesn't have those stepping stones. You look at Norris, he doesn't have those stepping stones to anywhere else. There's not really other teams kind of considering him, looking at him. Not to take away from Norris, not to take away from Albon, who I think had an exceptional year as well. I think, Russell's just kind of in this separate class. He's just in something that these other rookies aren't really in. It's like, yeah, he's just puddling around at the back, but he's being spoken about so well. And on that, I think one of my favorite things about Russell is just the way the guy speaks. Oh my God. Like, some of these drivers, it's painful to listen to their interviews after a race. They're just either really boring, drab, or they're just so full of themselves that you're like, Jesus, this is not possible to listen to. Whereas you listen to Russell, and he's just so well spoken. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He's honest, he's stern, but he's not like disrespecting the team, which is hard to do when you're in the dog that is the Williams. So yeah, to me, I think that's one of the good things as well, is, it's always nice to have a driver that from a PR perspective is really good at what he's doing. Kind of just a really well-rounded driver, which you don't expect from someone in their rookie season. And I just kind of imagine it's only going to get better and better. He improved throughout the year and consistently showed that he was, top class. So I think he's just an absolutely top class driver. And I think he should be kind of put higher on this list of rookies from 2019. I'd love to hear what you guys think of George Russell. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe other people also super highly rate George. I know a lot of people think he's nice and stuff. So let me know if you guys think the same. If you completely disagree, feel free to leave a comment below as well. If this change your opinion on George, please let me know. If you haven't already, feel free to like, subscribe to the channel, so on and so forth. If you're liking the content, please let me know. Thank you. Have a good one, guys. Bye.